Blessed are the weird people. Poets, misfits, writers, mystics, heretics, painters and troubadours, for they teach us to see the world through different eyes. Jacob Nordby. In 1997, Apple launched its now iconic Think Different advertising campaign, featuring black and white footage of groundbreakers like Albert Einstein, Bob Dylan, Martin Luther King, John Lennon, Mahatma Gandhi, Pablo Picasso, and others, and voiced by actor Richard Dreyfuss, intoning, "Here's to the crazy ones." To this day, there's debate about who actually wrote the copy for the Think Different commercial. Most agree it was largely the work of Rob Siltanen, a creative director and a managing partner of the ad agency that produced it. But like all ad campaigns, it was a collaboration that included contributions by Steve Jobs himself and various members of the team from the agency. In any case, the Think Different voiceover is one of the truly great pieces of advertising copy ever written. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. You can hear a hint of Robert Frost and Jack Kerouac, and even a touch of Kurt Vonnegut in the cadence of the language. But that's not the only reason why it's so good. It works because it resonates so strongly with us all. Everyone who appears in the Think Different campaign really did epitomize the spirit of the campaign. They broke the rules, they were vilified, but they changed stuff. Dylan, Lennon, Gandhi, Ali, and King all drove their contemporaries around the bend. But looking back, we can now view them as groundbreakers who left the world a better place. We all know it's true that crazy people change the world. So here's my question. Why isn't there a bit more crazy in Christianity these days? And I don't mean crazy as in zany or juvenile, there's plenty of that. I mean crazy as in Picasso, Jim Henson, Martha Graham, and Cesar Chavez. I mean crazy as in round pegs in square holes. Could it be that the church has closed its doors to the misfits and rebels and troublemakers? Does the church make space for and foster the contributions of those who see things differently? If Steve Jobs was right, and the world is pushed forward by people who break the rules and have no respect for the status quo, what does that say about the church's vision to change the world? Eccentric Christians. Not that it's always been this way. In fact, the church has produced these crazy ones in the past, MLK being a case in point. And while their contemporaries might have viewed them askance, they are widely regarded as those who push the cause of Christ forward. St. Boniface was an 8th century Scottish missionary to Germany, who became frustrated with the Germanic pagans' devotion to a sacred oak tree worshipped to honour Thor. The Germans feared that to even touch the tree would bring down the wrath of the gods. So Boniface took an axe to the oak, and having felled it, used the wood to build a church at the site dedicated to St. Peter. That's pretty crazy. Francis Xavier, one of the craziest evangelists in history, having established Christianity in Western India and the East Indies, met a samurai warrior named Anjiro in Malacca in 1547. Anjiro was on the run from the Japanese authorities, having killed a man there. Francis shared the message of Christ's forgiveness with Anjiro, who accepted Christianity and decided to return to Japan to face the music. But he also begged Francis to accompany him and to bring the gospel to his homeland. Remember, this was 1547. Francis had already travelled from his native Portugal to India to modern-day Indonesia. Asking him to go to Japan may well have been like inviting us to the moon. But he agreed, and became the first Christian missionary to the closed kingdom. Or there's the exotically named Count Nicholas von Zinzendorf, who virtually relinquished his highborn state.